things we're missing is a liquid death. We're missing a liquid death, and we're missing like a some kind of fake plant.
There's a fake plant right here.
there.
Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah, you gotta have the fake plant.
Dude, it was so still I didn't even realize.
So, Al,
Yeah, what's up, man?
you guys been thinking about buying a house?
Who, me and the wife?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, San Diego's pretty expensive. It's a lot to navigate, dude. I don't know. Why?
Well,
Why do you
like,
ask?
that's why you need a real estate agent, you know?
A real estate agent? Why the heck do we need a real estate agent? I can just do it myself.
No, they'll do all the work for you. They go hunt for the house. They help you learn the process.
Dude, I got hands. I could freaking type Zillow.com, Redfin.com. What are you talking about?
man. Zillow and Google are like the worst ways to find an agent.
Google, you're telling me Google's the worst way to find an agent. Google literally knows everything, dude.
Bro, look, San Diego has 17,000 agents.
17,000?
17,000. And 90% of them don't do anything with their license, which leaves like 1,700. And out of those
No way.
1,700, probably 1,000 of those guys are really, really bad.
1,000 of them?
Yeah, so you got to think, like, if you're trying to find an agent, how many of those people are really going to be good? And if you're on Google or Redfin, they're just sending you to people who pay to be on the front page.
Dude, wait, time out. You're telling me that they literally pay people just get on the front page. So when you say, look at your top Redfin Premier agent today, those people are paid? That's what you're telling me?
They either work for Redfin or they're paying to be part of the membership.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude. Okay, so what do I do?
Yeah, so look, there's a new service out there. It's called agentlinker.com.
Okay.
They're concierge style matchmaking company for exactly you, for clients to agents. So
Got it.
They'll interview you, and then they'll do their guru matchmaking stuff, and they pair you with an agent that's best for you.
Yeah.
They don't sell your information to random lists or anything like that. Like, they will hand pick an agent that they think is going to do the best job for you.
Yeah.
And then the best part is they don't get paid unless a transaction happens. So nobody gets paid.
No risk.
Unless a transaction happens.
You're
Right.
saying no risk.
Well, it's a free service for you as a client, right?
Free.
Agent Linker takes a commission, a referral from the agents, right?
Okay.
As a thank you for bringing a client to them.
Yeah.
But agents can't pay to be on the Agent Linker platform. They don't pay for ad space, nothing like that. So it's completely above board. Like I said, nobody gets paid unless what you want to happen in the end happens. So you want to buy a house? If you don't buy a house with that agent that was supplied to you, a match made to you, nobody gets paid. If you want to sell your house, you don't sell your house and have a good transaction, nobody gets paid.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Dang, that's great. Go to agentlinker.com today.
What's with the Teletubby baby real quick?
Oh, yeah. So we're doing another podcast with my jiu-jitsu buddy, and his jiu-jitsu nickname is Sunshine. It's not the most intimidating nickname in the world, but yeah, he's a co-host for that one, and yeah, it's just Sunshine. But yeah,
Did you know that was a Teletubby baby?
I did. Of course,
Okay.
of course, yeah.
I don't know. Some people saw Zordon the other day and they're like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "You don't know who Zordon is?"
Zordon's a legend, dude.
I have
For
no
sure.
idea who
Yeah.
Zordon is.
Wait, no way.
Stop it, Kevin.
I don't know.
You don't know who
We
Zordon
just
is?
established this man's age.
I have no
and
clue, dude. Who the hell is Zordon?
Zordon. Yo, Jimmy, pull up a... No, I'm just kidding.
I can pull it up. We got to get a TV in here.
I'm just kidding.
TVs are cheap.
Zordon was the guy that the Power Rangers would...
Oh, shit. I just
forgot.
forgot his name. I know who that is.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy that was
The
like...
big head.
the big head.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, I wonder if I was like just aged out of Power Rangers and you guys caught it and I didn't.
No, bro, Power Rangers. Did you watch Power Rangers?
I didn't.
You guys are 2 years apart.
Yeah, but I didn't. I don't know. I watched Power Rangers like a little at the very beginning, but that was it.
Yeah.
It was on right after school, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I remember it being right after school we would watch Power Rangers.
See, like something like Saved by the Bell would resonate with me.
Yeah.
Or, like it probably you probably have seen it, but it doesn't resonate with you in the same way. Like that was my childhood.
Yeah, bro. Kelly was my number one crush.
Oh my
Everyone
God.
loved Kelly.
Everybody loved Kelly.
Yeah. I mean, over everybody else on TV. Even Lisa from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the girl that Steve Urkel had a crush on.
Yeah, don't forget Tyra Banks was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air too.
Tyra Banks was so hot when he was
She
at
was Will
college.
Smith's girlfriend for a little bit.
Yeah, she was pretty.
Yeah, she was all right.
Yeah.
How about these posters? Do you like this, actually?
Bro, so every
That's
time
pretty
I look
cool,
at
right?
them, these look like they're on.
I know. That's why they're awesome.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And Also, like, shouts to Jordan and Kobe. Kobe's here? Nope.
Kobe does not belong on this wall,
Dude.
ever, never.
Yeah, I would love to have Kobe up there for sure. You're a Lakers fan as well?
Yes. I'm a Kobe fan as well.
Not
Dude,
on
you're
my
outnumbered.
watch.
You're outnumbered, Kevin.
Wait, what do you mean?
I do. You know what? Kobe really grew on me after he
respect
retired.
these men-
Hey, Kobe really grew on me after he retired. Like in his post basketball life, it was cool. But while he played basketball, he annoyed the crap out of me.
More
What
than
about
Curry?
You can never say anything bad about Steph. Don't you dare besmirch the name of Steph Curry.
No,
in the-
I'm not
in this
besmirching.
chat.
I'm actually asking personality-wise and, like, behavior-wise.
I love Steph. Steph is like my favorite athlete.
Whoa. That
Yeah.
says so much. Sorry.
That's a big statement, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot
Yeah.
about you.
I mean, if Tiger wasn't sex, what do you call those things? He has.
Yeah, well,
some
how
sort
would
of-
we define that?
What is that? He
What?
had issues. Tiger.
being a sexaholic or
He was
something?
a sex addict. Like
Yeah.
he had problems, you know. And
Everyone's got their vices.
I'm saying, but if it wasn't for that stuff, I'd be like, yeah, Tiger, probably my favorite athlete. But you know, that kind of hurts the aura a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, Steph, they have like an open relationship or something going on, right? Him and Aisha.
I don't. I really highly doubt that.
No, wait, time out. I think that's like fairly known now at this point.
You better Google that because
All right, I'll pull it up.
I don't know
Dude,
about that, actually.
I don't know how you like Steph Curry, like how he doesn't belong, how Kobe Bryant doesn't belong in this wall. I don't understand.
I concur, 100%.
I just don't like Kobe.
What about his basketball
And
prowess?
this is my wall, so I get to pick who goes on it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it sounds like it's like a, like it's all out of principle.
It is.
But what about
it's
merit?
because I hated the Lakers.
Oh.
That's it. We just throw that out there.
Okay, okay.
We should have prefaced it with that, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a whole different thing.
And then the anybody who has the MJ Kobe debate is an idiot.
No, that's not. Yeah, it's not.
There's no debate.
No.
MJ and LeBron, there's a debate still. You know, like LeBron's got a career that's still going, and he's done a lot
Yeah.
of things, but not Kobe. That's done. That argument is.
I don't. I think Jordan is the best player of all time. I don't think LeBron even holds a flame to him.
But LeBron's got the longevity.
He does.
Like-
He's been in it forever. How old is he? 40 something now?
No, he's 39, about to be 40
Yeah.
this year, I believe.
If
Oh, we can
Jordan
look
if
that up
Jordan
easy.
kept playing and didn't retire to play baseball because of the David Stern gambling stuff, he would undoubtedly be like 1A, B, and C. Like nobody
Yeah.
would even be close. But he only played like 13 seasons or something,
Yeah, really good season.
and 2 were with the Wizards.
Yeah, I remember.
Those were bad years.
We don't talk about that
We
for
don't
sure.
talk about that.
But LeBron is actually 38.
Is he really?
Yeah, December 30th is his birthday.
Yeah.
So he's going to be 39,
Bro.
40 next year.
LeBron, he looks like an old ass man.
No, what are you trying to say, man?
He-
you're
well-
39.
Yeah, Yosef looks younger than LeBron.
Yeah, I could buy that.
You
For
look
sure,
younger
for sure.
than LeBron.
I'm Asian though. That's different. Yeah.
LeBron's black. Black don't crack.
That's true.
Asian don't raise.
No, but LeBron's an outlier in terms of his age, right? Because even when he got to the league, he looked older than he actually was, I think.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
one of his knocks, I guess, if you could call it that.
Yeah.
But
You know what we should do though? We should talk about real estate.
Okay, let's talk
Tell me about this cool thing that you did yesterday and today.
Oh,
That
the-
thing is a crazy story. I
Oh,
mean,
you want to know about the bond?
yeah, because nobody really knows about bonds.
Yeah.
They have no clue
I didn't know
what that means, like in real estate, and why on earth a bond would ever surface.
Yeah.
In real estate,
Yeah.
right? Usually, you don't need those in a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, it's when you go to jail and you need to be bailed out. Somebody needs to put a bail bond out for you.
Yeah, or you're a contractor. It's really when you're doing some high ticket stuff.
Yeah.
And you need some protection around it, and you don't have the credibility.
Is it like extra insurance for people with bad credit?
That can be one of them. But it's also like you can be a legitimate, like a distributor, and you can bond around one of your shipping lines or something like that. You can bond around any one of these things if you're, let's say, your distributor and one of the suppliers wants coverage over the loss of something, and your insurance won't cover it. So you can bond around potential loss or something.
Is
like
it
that. That's
so?
part of the contract.
It is essentially. I mean, like in a bail bond, it's insurance that you're not going to flee the country, right?
It
You
is.
got to show up for your
yeah.
court date. So is a bond, like when we're talking about something
estate.
like real estate, is that basically insurance that you can't get covered by anybody else, essentially?
Yep. Yep. So in real estate, there's two kinds of insurance when it comes to the house. There's insurance around the house, which is homeowners insurance,
Sure.
which everybody has.
Yeah,
And then there's insurance on the deed or the title of the house, title insurance, right? These companies like Chicago Title, Lawyers Title, Ticor Title, First American Title, these are all insurance companies. Of course, they do title work and they transfer title and they record title. They take cash and pay off the people that need to get paid, and then they send that cash out to escrow, who then pays who needs to get paid. But they also, how they profit primarily is through selling insurance policies on the title of a home. So why you need to insure the title of a home is because there's different layers of bankruptcy, and there's different layers of ways assets get liens and judgments on them. You can have a judgment on you, and your property can have a judgment on you if you don't pay child support, for example, right?
Okay.
Or you get in a car accident, the judgment can garnish your wages.
Yeah.
Or it could also go on title as a amount. So let's say you get in a car accident and they garnish your wages for 10 years or whatever, 5% or something like that, and they also put on a lien on the property or a judgment on the property for $500,000.
Oh, I didn't know they could do that.
Yep, they can if it goes that far.
Yeah.
And if the family's open to something like the plaintiffs are open to something like that. So anyways, in this case, my clients, this is a very common thing that can happen. It just doesn't happen so much because the people that have probably been through this have either been foreclosed on, modified, or refinanced out of this situation. But my clients didn't do any of those things. So in 2005, my clients bought this house. In 2006, they took out a HELOC, home equity line of credit, to pay off, which is a second position mortgage.
Yeah.
And they took that out to pay off the trucks and some other things around the house. Like they bought a pool, all the American things that Americans do.
Sure. And on a second position mortgage, that just means the person holding the first gets paid before the second, right?
In a foreclosure, or
in the event that something happens.
Right.
Yeah, just so
the
people
first
understand.
position gets paid first, which is what a mortgage is in. It's in that first position. And then what if these cameras aren't recording? I'm talking to them. That'd be so funny, bro. Okay, so second position, which was the home equity line of credit, was $113,000. First one was $452,000. So in 2006, they took that HELOC out. In 2000, and then the mortgage crisis starts in 2007.
Yeah.
In 2008, shit really hits the fan, and they basically have to modify the loan because her wife loses her job, and they can't afford to make the two big payments that they had. One of them was one of those balloon payment, adjustable rate mortgages. So they start going through a loan modification and bankruptcy.
Okay.
So they're going through Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which protects the person but not the assets. So they thought all along, because they just weren't literate with bankruptcy, there's Chapter 7, there's Chapter 11, there's Chapter 13. There's a bunch of different chapters of bankruptcy. Most common are 11, 13, and 7. Chapter 13 is personal assets and real assets. They did Chapter 7, which is just personal assets. That's what protects the person.
Right.
So all along, since then, they thought that they were forgiven for that HELOC, but they weren't. It was a second trust deed on a real property. That stuff doesn't go away.
So had they not been making payments towards it?
So they were making payments towards it, which is a whole other thing that also is confusing.
Who's getting their money?
So because I had a mortgage statement, I gave it back to them, but I had a mortgage statement for 2012 or something where they were paying the second position loan. So what happened was they modified the loan in 2010. They got a loan modification so that they could keep the house, and they continue making payments, and they have been for that long. And they've been making payments for the primary, and up until several years ago, I don't know how many years ago, they were paying the secondary as well in a second payment. But then what happened was the servicer changed. Like anytime you guys get something in the mail when you have a mortgage, people buy the servicing rights for mortgages, or people buy the debt. And when they buy the debt as part of the contract for buying the debt, they'll also buy the servicing rights, or they'll have the right to ask the servicer to release it so that they can have their preferred servicer charged for the mortgage fees. So in the debt being sold multiple times, the last time it was sold, the servicer was also reassigned to a company called PHH. I think the company was eventually bought out by the previous servicer, but there's a lot of confusion there. In the shuffle of all of this happening, all of these banks getting... Oh, by the way, there's one last thing that makes it super confusing. On the title, there's a bank that's owed money that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
Normally, when you do a loan modification, when you do a refinance, any of these things, it gets reconveyed to the title so that everyone's in communication and they're like, okay, this is the new bank that's owed the money. Title company, record this, or county recorder, record this on title so that we know who to contact. Since 2006, they haven't reconveyed on title. So all these banks have been like, all this loan has changed hands. This bank has been sold into another sale, and then that was sold into another one, and now that bank is defunct. The building that this bank was in is no longer the same building. It's a completely different building.
Interesting.
Since 2006.
Yeah.
So many crazy things have happened here. Really hard to find out. And I know all this information all based on my own personal research. It's been really hard pulling at so many different strings and all leading to dead ends. And so where are we at now?
So at this point, nobody knows who the money belongs to.
Nobody. Oh yeah.
Or the loan belongs to, at least.
We go to sell the house. This is how we find out about everything. We go to sell the house. Once we get into escrow, the escrow company starts requesting payoff demands from the bank and saying, hey, we want to pay off the balance.
So the payoff demand is just where you ask them what your remaining balance is so you can pay that off and make, you're free and clear of that property or of the mortgage, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so this is normal procedure.
Right.
And they start reaching out to the bank and saying, hey, can we get the payoff demand for loan 1 and 2? And they're like, what do you mean loan 2? And she's like, well, there's 2 loans on title, and you guys are the servicer for both of them. And they're like, sorry, we don't have record of a secondary loan.
Wow.
And she's like, okay. So she calls the sellers, and she's like, hey, figure this out. And the seller's like, we haven't been charged for that mortgage in like 8 to 10 years. We haven't been able to pay. So they call
no statements were coming to them. Nobody was demanding that they pay anything. They just thought it was done or gone somehow.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them, dude. Like normally
I'm not searching to pay people money either.
Right? If you're like a middle class family and you're never taught any of this stuff, and these guys are like, they don't really have a lot of like financial mentors, and they just grew up in a different time. I wouldn't continue like trying to figure out who the money's owed to.
Sure.
So I don't blame them. And so at some point 8 to 10 years ago, the servicer changed from this company called Ocwen to PHH. And they've been paying PHH for like 8 to 10 years. When that happened, they stopped getting a bill for it. So they stopped paying it because they no longer received a bill to pay it.
Sure.
And nobody reached out to them. When they called PHH now, they said, hey, we used to pay Ocwen for our second position loan. Ocwen is no longer servicing us, and they don't have... Ocwen's no longer in business, basically. PHH owns Ocwen. So PHH says, we don't have any record of this loan. We can't give you a payoff demand.
Is there a scenario in which this just never needs to get paid?
There's a possibility.
So if nobody comes knocking, you just are like, it's gone.
Yeah.
That could happen. This money was borrowed. This money was out there.
Sure.
There is a deed of trust. There's the scenario that I'm imagining what could have happened, which I hope happens so this family doesn't have to pay off all this money, is that one of these banks filed for bankruptcy, and that mortgage did not get sold as part of that bankruptcy, and it just disappeared. That's what could have happened.
Sweet.
Right?
It's like 100K just gone.
Yeah, dude. And well, you never know. So here's what happens. We have to have clear title to be able to transfer this property to the new buyer.
Sure.
And in order to do that, the title company needs to be able to insure the title from any judgments, any liens, anybody else that can come out of the woodwork and say, hey, I have rights to this property. But the title company is not willing to insure this second deed of trust
Yeah,
because
because they could still come calling for it. Yeah.
they have every right to.
Sure.
But there's nobody that we can go to for this. It's just, anyways. So the title company is like, okay, we'll insure everything but this. So you have to get a bond, and so this is where the bond comes in. So I've never done this before, but I've heard about it. So I generally understood it. I generally understood what a bond was. I call a bond servicing company, which there's not too many that do this specific type of bond, but there's hundreds of thousands of bond companies.
Yeah, you said you called 42?
43.
43?
Yeah. I just called every surety bond company I could find, bro. And I was like, hey, do you do lost instrument bonds? Hey, do you do lost trust bonds, like lost note bonds? And they're just like, no, yeah. You got to give us all this information.
Yeah.
But the ones that I found that were actually willing to write on it, one of them wanted $7,000 and $113,000 held until they went to court and had a court order to issue something called quiet title, which is basically you're free and clear of this, or find the bank and reconvey the second trust.
So their fee was going to be $7,000 basically to figure it out, but they wanted to keep the $113,000 just in case, because they're on the hook for it now, and they're not going to do it unless you got the money there waiting for them in case that loan gets called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second company said they could do it up until they wasted a week and a half of our time. They said they can do it up until the underwriter got involved and said, "Hey, reach out to this new company that we found, this bank that we found, and try to get a demand from them." And that bank is like, "We don't have any record of this loan. We don't have any record of these people being clients of ours." And the insurance company is like, "Well, since it's like that, we're not going to issue the bond." I said, "Okay, what if we put up collateral?" They said no. And so the second company basically just gave us a runaround and wasted our time there. And the third company finally called on Monday and said, "We will issue the bond for $4,500. We don't need collateral, and we can get this done within 24 hours."
Whoa.
It was a fucking miracle, dude.
That is like
It was a miracle,
wow.
dude.
Yeah.
So my clients had no idea what a bond was. So I had to explain to them. First, I had to understand what a bond was fully, and then I had to get the guy to explain it to them. And once he explained it to them, they were like, "David, please put this in. Explain it like I'm 5 years old, please."
Yeah.
And so I said, "Listen, this is just somebody else that's willing to put up their credit for you, so that if somebody comes calling, you can basically they'll pay the $226,000 up to $226,000 to the grantor, and then to the bank, and then they'll come after you to negotiate like payment for what they just paid out." That's basically what you're doing.
Yeah. So you're giving them the ability to get out of this house. They're still essentially on the hook for money because the bonds people will come and say, "Hey, look, we're paying this debt for you, and now we've got to figure out how you're going to pay us back."
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
But like they need to sell this house.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll lose this house.
Oh, come on.
Dude, y'all got a VTech house phone in here?
Yeah, man.
We got to take that thing out of the office.
Are you gonna answer?
If we
doesn't
do a
belong.
podcast, we can just take it out.
Yeah.
Well, I think Chris got it, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yo, y'all got a VTech.
Don't ask me how they got there. We used to have like
I show the camera.
legit real phones, you know. But you know what happened? I think those other ones they charge you like per line to have.
Oh, the
phones.
VoIP
And we're like,
ones?
yeah, we have like one line. Who needs all that
No,
stuff?
I understand.
So now we're
I don't blame you, bro.
yeah. Once I redo the office, I don't think we're gonna have phone at all. We'll just have cell phones and that's it, and call it a day. Because who needs a regular phone anymore?
I don't know.
I'll just pay for a second cell phone.
Seriously, dude, your business lines are at $10 a piece from with an AT&T internet.
Yeah.
Business lines are $10 a piece with AT&T.
That's probably what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, now you got this thing done,
Yeah.
and
It
like
happened today.
just now you got it all cleared up,
We just dropped off the bond at the escrow company.
and they're gonna close escrow when?
Actually, we may be closed. That's what the phone call was. East Derby is closed, just waiting on Chauncey. Says, okay, so we close tomorrow.
Nice, congratulations, man.
Thank you, bro.
So this is something where like you need a good agent, right? Because I mean, if you were like one of those budget 1% agents,
Yeah.
are you really going to go out of your way to do this, or even have the brains and the wherewithal to go and do all this for your clients? Like, probably not, right?
No.
There's a reason that
Yeah.
discount agents are discount agents.
I think the biggest thing you have to look at is like you're dealing with the biggest transaction in your life.
Yeah.
Who do you want on your team?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, seriously.
Steph Curry, not Kobe. I want a team player.
But whoever you call, you want somebody. You want somebody in the big leagues. You don't want somebody in the D leagues
For
or the
sure.
G leagues or
Yeah,
anything
for
like
sure.
that. You know.
What would you say to those people who are like, and I have friends like this, okay, where they go, I don't need an agent, or I do all the work anyway. I'm just gonna pay this guy like 1% to do the transaction. Like, what do you say to somebody like that?
Most of those people, it's an education problem. They haven't taken the time to truly understand what goes into a transaction. They haven't taken the time to truly understand what goes into identifying a home or identifying the trouble or whatever challenge they're facing. For example, you want to go buy a house, but your hourly rate is $3,000 an hour. Okay, do you want to speeden up the home buying process or slow it down?
Speed it up.
Okay, why? So
because
that you don't.
my time is valuable.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Most of my clients, they range between $100 an hour up to $5,000 an hour. When I have this conversation with them, it's a no-brainer for them. They want to speed it up. We have surgically curated a buying process, a selling process, a investment process for each one of our client avatars to help them save this time. So when you go with Redfin just puts you into a call center and puts you through a pre-systemized email campaign and all these different things. But they're not people that have taken the time to think about, put themselves in your shoes and solve the challenges that you're about to face so that we can save you as much time as possible and get you from point A to point B as fast and efficiently and as most protected as possible.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons too that we even created Agent Linker in the first place is because of Redfin and Google. Like, anybody can go out there and pay for 5-star reviews, but you don't really know who you're getting into bed with, until you get into bed with them. And the problem with real estate is it's a huge transaction, right? And when you go and do that transaction with someone who you don't know, by the way, you're going off their headshot like, hey, that's a good looking person who looks like they know what they're doing and they have some good reviews online, let me go do that. It almost always does not turn out great. It might turn out okay, but it's very rare that you have somebody go, hey, that was the best transaction I ever had, I can't believe it, that was amazing. And it's because there are so many mediocre to bad agents out there. And to be able to find one that is just outstanding for you in particular, like not just outstanding, but outstanding for you, right? They're investment specialized, or they're specialists in military or VA loans, or they're super luxury only, right? Like, those kind of agents are hard to come by. And so it's great to have people like you out there, because I know that when I meet the right client, I can send them to you, right? I go, hey, you got somebody with a special need, it's a little out of the box, right? Or someone just even looking in a certain area code that you're just completely dialed in, or someone who likes the same type of restaurants as you even, and you just know the area so well that you can give them real insight. Like, that's the whole reason we do it, because otherwise, you're just throwing darts and hoping that you hit somebody that's decent, right?
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate stat. Have you ever seen a stat where it was like 80% of people don't use the same agent again after they've used them once?
I know why, but I did not know that stat.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know if that's the exact number. I'm just throwing it out there. I read it somewhere, right? But it's like 80%. And then if you think about like 90% of the agents in San Diego out of like 17,000 agents don't even practice. Right? So when you see the top 1%, That's not that many. I mean, it's not that many people.
Not at all.
17,000. That means there's 1,700 agents who actually do work. And of those 1,700-ish agents, there's only, a few handfuls that are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And there are probably another, few hundred that are good, but the others are just trash.
Yep.
And, they might do a couple transactions a year, but they're just not very good at their job, or they don't care. Or they're those agents, which is the worst case, when you go and get close to buying a house and then you get that ick feeling where are you looking for a check now? Like you see the
They have
finish
commission
line.
breath.
Yeah, exactly. Commission breath.
Yeah.
You see the finish line and you're like, all right, let's finish them off, right? Instead of, hey, what is best for you? I only care about you and making sure you're taken care of. If this isn't the house, I know we're at the end, but like if you're not 100% committed, let's go look at another one, right? Let's go find you the right one. Or if you're on the sell side, it's like, hey, I know this deal is like in our pocket, it's a done deal, but there's another one that's going to be coming that's better than this. And I really think you should consider that instead of taking the for sure money. Like those are the kind of agents you need. People who really, really, truly have your back, like your friends would have your back.
Absolutely, dude.
So
I would go further than just your friends, man, because the other side of it is you're also hiring somebody that, like, you have to interview these people.
Yeah.
You have to treat it like they're actually coming onto a job. Because if you don't do that, then who is this person really? What are they really about? And it's funny because the friends, like, it takes a lifetime of experiences to like build that relationship, right? But with a real estate agent, it's like you can either throw a dart on the wall, or you can actually sit down and interview them intentionally and have a two-way interview where you kind of understand where they're coming from and how they think and what their decision-making process is like, because I'm constantly making decisions for my clients without them in the room.
Yeah, so like this goes back to your topic of having clients who are high earners and high achievers in their field. They don't have time to do that. And so that's what we do. We go and interview all the agents. We get to know you as friends, even, down to the core, as much as we can know about you, very granular. Not just personality-wise, but in your expertise in the real estate fields, right? Like, what have you done? If I had a client who goes, I have a second mortgage that was lost. Now I'm like, hey, David, he just did that. We can hook you up. And you don't have to go and interview 20 different agents to find out whether they've ever dealt with that sort of thing before, right? Yeah. Because we're the experts in that field. Is like, we know all the best agents and we know everything about them. So when you go to sell your house, the 5 or 6 agents that you probably would throw a dart at to try and pick one, and if you had to spend an hour to interview each of those people, that's 5 hours of your life.
Yep.
And then you have to go and hope that you made the right decision and that they weren't just putting on a pretty face. That's a lot of time and effort and heartache and stuff that we can save by doing the interview with you as a client first, getting to know what you want, what your preferences are, what your lifestyle is like, what you're looking for, and then matching you with an agent who already has those requisite skills to do your transaction, but also on a personal level can really help you out, right? And having the confidence as a client to know that we only have like the best agents on, and that we don't keep agents on who don't continue to maintain their status as being one of the best, right? And I think it's really important though that people understand that it takes a lot of time to find a good agent. If you really want to find a good agent, like you do have to treat like interviews, 5, 6, 7 of them, multiple rounds. Make sure that they really are who they say they are. Go get references from other people and find out more granular
People
information
don't have
about
time
them.
for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You know how people find their agent right now?
Yeah, they go to Google or they go on Redfin and click the button.
They talk to a friend about it, and which is fine.
Which is fine.
A personal referral is important, but still they should go through the interview process.
Sure.
They go on Google, or they go on one of these websites, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Homes.com.
Yeah.
And they click Request a Tour.
Right.
Request a Tour actually means...
Yeah. Here's my agent.
Become a lead. It means become a lead. We're selling you for $2,000.
Yeah.
We're selling your contact information as an opportunity for $2,000 to some agent who's the highest bidder.
Right. And that's bullcrap.
Dude, that's the worst part. The highest bidders are throwing money at the problem. They're not throwing experience at the problem. They're not throwing what we throw at the problem, which is ourselves.
Well, and then they go and do that thing where they go, and guess what? By the way, we'll do it for 1.5%, right?
Probably.
That's how they get business. They just keep throwing money at them. Like, hey, not only are we going to pay for your lead, And then after we get you, we're going to discount that just to ensure that we get the business because we're not confident in our skills and the value that we add
Where's the
as an
integrity?
agent, right? And that's what it's not there. You know, everything is like we use a website called myagentfinder.com. I'm gonna just throw it out there, even though it's our competitor. They're so bad. All they do is they take your generic information that you provide. They ask about 10 qualifying questions. We ask like 3 because we're going to actually call you and talk to you about it. And then they go and just dump you off to whoever's paying their membership and paying their lead generation fees. I mean, I put in a request for San Diego. I got somebody from San Jose. And I'm like, wait a second, I put in a zip code. I didn't even write San Diego. I literally put in a San Diego zip code. And they sent me, I was getting calls from Oakland. I was getting calls from San Jose. And I'm like, guys, we're talking about the wrong city. Why are you calling me? They're like, oh, well, we just get these emails or text messages from, that website. And that's how we get you. And like, I had to literally tell them, hey, look, I was just prospecting. Like, you can just take me off your list. I'm definitely not buying a house from you. So don't call me again.
Yeah.
Right. But how little care, because they just want to like throw, cast the widest net possible and just, and then just make money that way. And we're trying to just do what's right for the home buyer and seller. That's it.
So what's the process like right now? Somebody goes online to agentlinker.com.
Yeah.
And what do they do?
It's super easy. There's a form says I want to buy or I want to sell. Right? It has like 3 or 4 questions that are very easy to answer. Right? And then you hit submit with your contact information. You put in your phone number, email, whatever you want. Sends that to us, and we review and we just call you back. And then we schedule a time to have an appointment with you where we can do a real interview that asks real questions, and it's matchmaking. It is like you're gonna go meet your arranged marriage husband or wife. Like
dude, Middle Eastern parents hate this one act.
Yeah, but except for there's no pressure to actually make that match, right? So like, if we send you to somebody, so we'll ask you all the questions, we'll interview you, and then we go through our selection process where we go through our list of agents and go, who would match the best with this person?
Yeah.
And then we connect you via text message or email, whatever you prefer, and we'll stay on the conversation as long as you want. And whether or not you choose that person, it doesn't matter to me. I want you to make the best decision possible for you. I'm just there to expedite that and to help you make the right decision so you don't get fooled by Google or Zillow or Redfin, right? And that's really nice. Also knowing that we don't charge the agents to be on our platform. They don't pay us when we send them to you. The only time we get paid is if a transaction actually happens. So if everybody along the line has done their job, right? The client has done their job by contacting us, the right people. We have done our job by connecting you to the right agent. And that right agent has done their job by finding you the house at the price you want or selling your house at the price you want, right? Then everybody's happy and everybody gets paid and we're all good, right? Yeah. But if you decide anywhere along the way that, hey, this just didn't work out for me, you don't even have to come back to us. I'll follow up and say, how was your transaction? You say, well, I didn't get the great vibes. I'll say, well, if you want, I can do it again for you. I have a couple other ones that might fit your profile. Right. But if you don't, like, not a big deal. You can go on your own journey and just call us for help if you want. It's not a big, to us, we're legitimately out there just to help the client. Yeah. Right? I'm not trying to turn it into a $1 billion company. It doesn't really matter that much. Like, I'm not trying to find ways to automate it and turn it into this tech company that, million X's for somebody. We're not taking investment. We don't do any of that stuff. It's very much the opposite. It's person to person, real interaction, real conversations, real questions, And I think that's important in something like, how are you going to make the most important financial decision of your life? It's a very personal decision too when you buy or sell your house, right? Very personal. If you never talk to a person about it, you just trust that to a robot, right? Like, how much can they really garner from you other than what you put in? If you don't put in that information, the qualifiers are, when are you looking to buy a home? 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, right? What is the price range, right? Single family, condo, apartment. What is your credit score? What is that? I mean, like, Anybody could do that. You could do that yourself, right? You could absolutely just go on Redfin or Zillow and just click the buttons and then find the house of your dreams that's on the MLS, right?
Yep.
Now, you could if you're savvy and you're like, I can negotiate it, I can get through all the transaction myself, whatever, that's great for you. That's fine. Like, and if that's the way you can want to do it and you think you're a great negotiator, go ahead. But if you want a real expert to walk you through the process, that's when you need a real agent and someone who is an expert in their field.
I got a good story for you.
Yeah.
So I had this client who's a commercial real estate acquisitions manager or something like that. He helps this big investment firm basically buy buildings, underwrite them, and things like that. And he was like, I don't need a realtor. His wife is my old coworker.
He's a commercial agent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. His wife was my old coworker, and she's like, we're going to use you when when we go to buy. He called me. She called me for a lender. So I connected them with 3 lenders, and then I was like, hey, who's your agent? And he's like, oh, I'm going to do it myself. My dad's going to do the transaction. He's a lawyer, and he has his license. And I was like, Jesus Christ. This is getting worse. This is getting worse than I thought. So I was like, listen, let me at least just sit down with you and talk through a buyer's consultation. And he's like, well, we don't need a consultation. I said, listen, I'm not trying to sell you to use me. I'm trying to take you through the process so that you have all the answers you need to go and buy a house. And he didn't quite understand it. I said, here's the questionnaire. Now let's have a conversation. It's a guided conversation. That's what a buyer consultation is. It's a guided conversation to help you and your partner, or you and whoever's buying the house, decide all of the things you need to know before going out and searching for a house. What that entails is anything from like, what are you looking for in a home, to what's your commute to work like? What does your family makeup look like? How often do you have people over? Are you having kids soon? If they're comfortable answering those things.
Sure.
And if you're having kids soon, what's childcare going to look like? Are you going to have the kid cared for at home? Or are you going to have the kid cared for? Are your parents, in-laws coming? Or are you going to have them out in daycare? Where's the kid going to spend its time? Are you homeschooling them? It's literally really goes in depth. And that's what good buyer consultations do, is talk about how you're going to use the home and live in the home, and if the home really makes sense for you. These are the things you need to think about when you're on tour. Not just, oh shit, do I like the countertops? And oh, this is LVP versus engineered hardwood.
Right.
Or do I fit on the toilet? Things like that. So
well, that's important.
That is extremely important. Most number one important thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But my point is, it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah. So what happened with this guy?
So I was like, show me. I was like, you want to see I said, do you know why you need a good agent? He said, why? And I was like, show me the house that you guys want to submit an offer on. $1.5 million, $1.55 million. And he shows me the house, and it's a flip. And they had added a wall, I think. Yeah, they had added a wall, and my clients didn't understand why they added the wall. They added the wall to add a office downstairs. And my client loved the office downstairs. I was like, where's the dining table? And he was like, what do you mean? There's a dining table. And so we looked, there was no dining table. The house was staged. There was no dining table. And I was like, so do you plan on using the office downstairs as your formal dining? He's like, no, we could fit like there was a small round breakfast table. And I said, okay, great. Like, where are you guys going to have meals? Where his parents come over all the time.
Yeah. How will you entertain?
Come over all the time.
Yeah.
Their friends come over all the time.
Sure.
His biggest thing was sports, watching sports games.
With your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I was like, so where would you guys eat? He's like, dude, I didn't even think about it. They cook at home all the time. They're foodies. Everything has so much to do about the dinner table. There's not even a peninsula or an island at this house for them to do these things. There's no functionality around the core thing they wanted a house for.
Yeah, but they had some pretty stuff that they like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to see through my lens, which is an experienced lens, understanding the functionality of the house. And he was like, dude, we're about to submit an offer of $1.5 million on this house.
Sure.
It didn't even have a dining room table. I probably would have either figured it out way too late, or we would have been heartbroken because we so much loved this house and then had to like separate from it because of that one thing. And all we're doing is we're sitting at True Foods and having this conversation about some house. We end up finding the perfect house for them 3 minutes down the road from his parents' house. And they are the happiest they've ever been.
And actually at zero cost to them because the seller pays the commission anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Zero cost. We looked at, I think, 5 houses.
Sure.
And what's funny is all it took was them just believing in the process for a moment and allowing me to show what I do, which is literally just look for problems in where there shouldn't be any problems. And there were so many risks. So that's one example of why it's important to, like, you know, actually think about who you hire, because some people don't think the way we think. You know, some agents just get a license and they used to be bottle service girls, or some people get a license and they used to be like, I don't know, they used to do things, not no shade on bottle service girls, but my point is, like, there's a certain level of engagement you have to have in this industry to, like, there's a science behind this. And if you don't buy into that, you don't become like me. You become somebody that's just kind of getting by until the market takes a hit.
Yeah, dude, I think a couple things. You know, one is experience matters, right? You can't have a real estate agent, no matter how good their intentions are, that has only been doing it for like a year or two. If that's what you want, like, because they haven't seen enough things. And I know everybody needs to get that experience, so you're not always going to be getting the super experienced agent, because you can only get experienced agents from inexperienced agents. But, like, experience is important. I think you need to do that. You need to make transactions. And then secondly, you need to have, like, really true good intentions, right? You have to care for your client over your own well-being, which is really hard, and it's very un-American, to be terribly honest, right? Like, it's almost like, hey, wait, I have to be selfless here. I have to potentially give up money. Like, what if think about this. How many agents would ever do this? You work in San Diego, right? But someone, say, is buying a house in Oceanside. You're familiar with Oceanside, but what they want is not something that you're an expert in. Maybe they have some complicated loan, or they have something that you haven't done before. You know, are you the type of agent that would say, you know what? Tell you what, as much as I want this commission, I know an agent in Oceanside who fits every category of what you need, right? Now, you've had enough transactions where you could probably do anybody's, but there's some people who haven't. Yeah. And it's like, let me either do this together with them and bring them on the team, or let me give you to them. You'll still get your referral fee. You know, agents can take a referral fee, but are you know, how comfortable are you just saying, I'm not the best person for that job, let me pass you on to someone who really truly is much better than me at this particular transaction, and please come see me next time when we're working on something else later, right? Yeah. And trust me to make the right decisions for you. How many people are there like that? I guarantee you, in San Diego, there's maybe 2 handfuls, and you probably are being one of them, of agents who would ever give up a commission to do what's right for the client. I don't think there's that many.
No, of course not. And a lot of agents will say, like, they'll, like, fake it till they make it. They'll fake that they know how to do something until they make it. And there's a certain level of there's a certain level that I even fake it till I make it. Sure. But that's just because I believe in myself, right? The other side of it is, though, if you're doing something that requires actual expertise and technical know-how, you're being negligent if you're faking it in that moment. You are supposed to be hired on as a licensed expert for this person.
Yeah, you have a fiduciary obligation to do what's best for your client.
And the last thing I want is, I will say this, though, bro, I've sold a bunch of property in Oceanside. I'm going to sell property.
Okay. I understand. I told you could do it.
But I'll give you an example. Somebody called me and said, hey, I want to buy raw land for building large-scale subdivision development. Yeah. That's not my thing. Yeah. You know, and I also don't want to become an expert in it just to fake it with you. You know what I mean? So it's not something I want in my future. It's not something I want right now. And it's not something I'm very good at. So all of those 3 things made me decide, hey, I know somebody that specializes in this who's going to do a way better job. And I don't even care about the referral. I'm building a stronger relationship with that person. I'm standing out further with that person. And that's all that really matters to me. I have plenty of, income coming into my life. Like, I don't need the referral fee, but I want a stronger relationship with that subdivision, the basic entitlement guy.
Right. So maybe he'd give that to you to sell after he's done making it, right?
That's my intention.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about out of town referrals? Like, if someone came to you and like, I'm moving to Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Right. Do most agents take the time to vet agents in Scottsdale, or are they going, well, here's someone who's in kind of our family of agents, so I'm going to send you to them and then collect my fee? It's mostly that, right?
It's that, yeah. Not me. I actually interview and I look at numbers, and I actually, so I have an agent in Phoenix, I have an agent in Vegas, I have an agent in Los Angeles, in the Temecula 951 area, and Orange County.
Right.
Those are my partners.
So I feel like someone like you, when you send them out, send a client out to them.
This is why we need that liquid death, bro.
That's true.
I'm dying. I need liquid death. When you send a client out to one of those people, you feel like you're doing the right thing, right? Because you've done the research and you're making sure like, hey, this person's going to be good for you over there, and they're a good agent in that area. And that's what I can respect that, because most people are not going to put the time in to go and actually know that person and have had more than one conversation with them ever, right? And I think that's important, right? Like, even for me, if somebody came to me as someone who's supposed to match people together, if they said, hey, I'm going to Wichita, I need an agent, I go, hey, I'm going to be very honest with you. We don't do Wichita right now, but if you give me a few days or a week, I'll go interview 100 agents in Wichita, and I'll spend my entire week doing that for you so I can hook you up with the right person, right? And hopefully that's okay with them. But if they're like, I don't know, then I'll say, okay, let me go ask around for you, and I'll just give you some other recommendations, or feel free to go and search for those people, and then I will help you in whatever way I can, right? But I would never just go, oh yeah, I got somebody for you, and then just go on Google and do the same crap where I'm like, hey, this guy's got 5 stars, let me go send you to him.
Yep.
Right? That doesn't make very much sense.
It's your reputation on the line.
100%. I like our platform right now. If an agent doesn't do their job one time, and I find that they're at fault, like sometimes you have crazy clients, right? But sometimes you've taken on a job that you can't handle at the time, and instead of being honest with me and saying, hey, I'm too busy, Kev, send them somebody else, right? Or you just straight up drop the ball and you do something with this client that's not acceptable, you're off the list. And I have no qualms about it, because you don't pay me. I'm doing you a favor. I'm sending you a valuable client, someone who is going to do a transaction. And you should be able to put 100% of your effort in there. And if you're too busy, you got to let me know. Yeah. And if you don't feel like you're capable of doing the job for whatever reason, maybe, there's one little thing about them that they tell you that you're not going to be a great fit for. Instead of returning them back to me, you just do their transaction. It comes out in the end that's going to be an issue. That's going to be problematic for us, because we're here solely for the client, and the client's good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, dude, it's been fun. That was like an hour.
It was.
I mean, straight up. I think we should do it more often. It was a good time.
I think we should too, man. I'll tell you, every week I learn something new, so I'll come by and teach you things.
Yes, thank you. Also, I enjoyed being in the class this morning. That was fun.
Ooh, hey! While we were sitting here, we closed on Chauncey.
Ayo!
That's what my phone was blowing up for.
Victory! We should be able to pop bottles.
Yeah, we should have.
You should have air horns.
Yeah, we can. But everyone does that though. It's like in every podcast.
I just Jalen and Jacoby did it for a long time. I like that. I haven't seen them. Do they still make podcasts? I haven't heard them in a long time, dude.
All the athletes are doing podcasts right now.
Shoot. Hold on. Let me take a picture of David across the pod from me here. Look, a little microphone action. Anything else you want to say? Like build a little content or whatever while you're here? I mean, we got some good audio for you to take with you later after Alan cuts it up.
Dude, first of all, thank you for having me. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys.
Of course,
taking the time to sit down, setting up this awesome technical,
No, this is very early on. We'll make it better. Next time we have you on, we'll liquid death first of all.
Yes.
Like you said.
I'm telling you, liquid death.
bigger fake plant.
Yeah, bigger fake plants so that I notice it when I
there you
walk in
go.
the room or something. I'm just kidding. I got plants you could have, dude.
No, we're good.
The only thing I would just say is, damn. I don't have anything to say.
Are you about to cry right now?
No,
You're
not
so
at all.
happy.
I was just thinking. I'm actually like, I have like a cooling feeling over me right now.
That's
not
good.
having
Yeah,
to
well,
worry
you
about
just
that.
you just
Yeah.
closed on a house.
That's what
that
it
was
is.
a lot of
That's
work,
why.
man. That's awesome.
That house legitimately gave me the flu. Like
Yeah.
I got sick
Yeah, you
from
were
that
sick.
house,
Well,
dude.
you also got sick from Mexico.
I got food poisoning in Mexico, dude. I got food poisoning. I mean, it's like part of the rite of passage. You go to
Yeah, right,
Mexico
right. You can't go to
bring that
Mexico.
back.
You gotta
That's
actually
true.
you gotta drink the water.
Yeah, I
Those
did.
tacos, man.
Dude,
I had the
don't
tacos
drink the
there.
water in Mexico,
I
man.
wanted
That's
to try
rule
it.
number one.
I wanted to try it, dude. That's the real liquid death, bro.
That's like rule number one in Mexico. Don't drink the water. Like you have to, even if they have $9
I didn't drink
Fiji
the water.
water.
Bro. I didn't drink the water. No, I didn't drink the water. But I'm pretty sure like some tuna got me sick or something. Like that.
Oh my gosh. Well, good, man. I mean, it was a good time. I would love to do this again. We are going to build a new studio.
Mm-hmm.
We're remodeling the entire office, so that should be cool. I'm putting
When are you
golf
doing that?
simulator, conference room.
Wow,
Everything.
dude, I'm gonna be sad if you.
Well,
if
you
we
can
move.
You
it's
can
gonna-
always come hang out up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
come
okay.
hang out with you, dude.
You'll probably prefer it too. You're gonna move into some dank office with Andrew, who just wants to be closer to home.
Hey man, I will say wherever we end up, it's probably not going to be as fun as of the time as we have had here.
This has been a good time.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could stay.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
I really do, and maybe we can. I mean, maybe we'll go out there and look at things that just don't end up working out.
I think if we if you guys realize things don't work out and then we remodel this
Yeah.
office and you guys want to stay, I think we could, like, because this is going to be my office forever,
Mm-hmm.
we could probably do something together. Like we could bust down the walls over
Yeah.
there and just make a huge, really cool real estate office, because every real estate office I know is like a little 1,500
Yeah,
1,000 square foot piece of crap with a couple offices and
Mm-hmm.
just some stuff. Like if we did something really cool, we could make it a place where people really want to come,
yeah,
and we can do a bunch of pods and create content. And
dude, that's our plan. Is
You know.
we exactly we want to do those things, but I'll have to talk to him and see what. There's one office that I saw today.
Yeah.
That I was like, this might actually work, but it's 1,200 square feet. You know.
I mean, 1,200 if you use it efficiently is big enough for what you guys need.
Yeah.
I think even if you have, I mean, unless you're trying to host classes inside,
That's what I want.
that might be a little tough. If you guys were here, I'm gonna have a 25,000 square foot rooftop night market thing that
Oh,
you
we'll
guys
be
could,
here. You don't
guys
think
could
we're
use,
gonna-
no, that you
yeah.
guys could use for events all the time. Like
Yeah.
we could make it private and everything.
Absolutely. No, dude, we'll do one of the breweries there or something like that, dude.
100%.
You still haven't been to a brewery.
It's because I don't drink. And
You don't need a drink.
hey, it's called Brew RE. That's like half of it is drinking and networking with alcohol.
I don't drink when I go because I'm working.
It's mostly I have little kids at home and I try to be home by 5. Today's
That's
the
fair.
exception. I was talking to you, so I wanted to stay longer.
Thank you for staying, by the
Yeah.
way. I appreciate it. I think the last thing I'll leave you with is I think it's important to like follow your dreams, whatever it is. And
Wow,
sometimes
that's very cheesy, but I like it.
but it really is. Like I just was thinking about like it. I'm very fortunate to be able to have found a job that I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I've been working since I was like a kid. I used to work at my dad's shop. We used to go to the swap meets. I've worked at I was a sign spinner. I worked at a Chinese restaurant.
Yo, you're a sign spinner?
I was a sign spinner. dude.
Wow. Okay.
I've done. I was an Uber driver. I did DoorDash. Everything under the
Wow.
sun I've done, and so I have a lot of experience in the working world. But this is the job that I've actually found to truly enjoy doing.
For sure.
And it all came from just taking a chance on myself, from saving some money and truly believing in myself and saying, I'll eat as much shit as I need to and give it a solid 18 months. And if I make any money, that's success. And I know that I can do that over and over again. So if I can leave you with anything, or anybody watching this, if they do, is to follow your dreams and believe in yourself and give yourself a runway and plan it out. And you never know what may end up happening.
Awesome, man.
That was amazing.
Also,
I got
we never
chills.
mentioned, David's part of Finest City Team.
At the end,
Oh my God.
Hey,
we do it backwards. We go,
Yeah, right. We
The
can just
backwards podcast.
cut that back to the front.
Yeah.
But they do a really great job out here. They've got
Mm-hmm.
a good, solid team. Andrew, his partner, is phenomenal. at development and acquisition, and such a creative mind when it comes to ADUs and all this other stuff. And they do classes, free classes, pretty much every day on Zoom, right? Like
Yeah.
you got Monday's
the
Tuesday,
mastermind.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Through Thursday, yeah. And then Saturdays
Saturday.
we do real estate cheat codes. Not every Saturday, but like 2 times a month.
Yeah, real estate cheat codes is pretty cool too. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Amazing.
you.
Thank you guys for having me. I
Where's my-
appreciate you guys. Yeah. There we go.